Must be a drill. Oh my god.
The landlord said this is him in the picture. Let's look for him. There he is right there. Let's go arrest him.
Man, ain't got no fire around this place. I don't know what they was talking about. Hey, you're under arrest. Hey, you put the fire on. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I know you pulled that fire. I've been out here all day, bro. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, bro. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Put your hands on your back. Put your hands on your back. Behind your back. Come on. All right. Come on. All right, stand up. Come on. Man, it wasn't me. Come on. It wasn't me. Stand up, bro. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Let's go.
That fake picture fooled them. He ain't getting away with this easily.
Good morning, Mr. Wright. Good morning. Well, trial starts in 6 minutes. Are you ready?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't even know why they got me out here. I'm innocent.
I know. Well, I'm gonna fight to figure it out, okay?
Well, good luck.
Mr. Wright, the trial is about to begin.
Okay, thanks. Well, I'll give it my best.
Good luck.
All rise. The court is now in session for the trial against Mr. Ben Dover.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Mr. Godot, what is with the glasses?
Just a vision problem, Your Honor. Can't see without them.
Alright then. Please give your opening statement.
A hot, bitter cup of coffee. Perfect way to start the day.
What is with this guy? I'm surprised they let him do that in here. Where did that coffee come from anyway?
Anyways, the defendant is accused of pulling the fire alarm in his apartment building and stealing money from the landlord's office. The prosecution will provide evidence and two witnesses that will prove his guilt. If you please the court, I would like to call our first witness, the detective in this case, Miss Lisa Gumtree. Alright then, detective, please take the stand.
Detective, please give a record of what happened that night.
The fire alarm sounded at 3:28 p.m. on April 26th, and we have record of the fire. We have record from the fire department. The trigger was pulled on the 3rd floor, and there weren't any fingerprints on it. The security camera took a picture of Mr. Dover next to the trigger, but he doesn't have it on his hands.
The prosecution would like to submit this record as evidence. The court accepts this as evidence. Mr. Wright, you may begin with your cross-examination.
So, detective, there were no eyewitnesses to this case?
No, only on camera.
So no one else was in the hallway?
No, we checked the cameras too.
And who manages these cameras anyway? I assume the landlord, correct?
Yes.
And you only got this one photo?
Yes, it all happened so fast. It was so blurry. Then the sprinkler system came on after, and it was only a clear shot.
Well, Your Honor, this photo does not prove anything. It does not prove that my client pulled the alarm because his hand is not on the trigger. Did he just say objection in Japanese?
Yes! Don't get ahead of yourself, Mr. Wright. Even though you may have a point, I still have another witness to call. So, if you are finished questioning, I would like to call her to the stand. Well, Mr. Wright, any more questions?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
I would like to call our next witness to the stand, none other than the landlord, Miss Dorothy Bell. She will be able to tell us what she saw with her own eyes and claims to know why the defendant pulled the alarm in the first place. Miss Bell, if you would please take the stand. Name and occupation for the record.
Dorothy Bell, landlord of the apartment.
Miss Dorothy, is it true that you saw the victim pull the fire alarm?
Yes.
Can you please testify as to what you saw that had from your own perspective?
Yes. I was in my office since 9 o'clock that morning filing paperwork. Around 2:45, Mr. Dover stormed into my office. He was angry about the rent price, claiming that I raised it without notice, but that wasn't true. After I refused to lower it, he ran out. Then the alarm sounded shortly after, so I left the building. When I went back, my papers had been moved around, and I had $1,000 on my desk that was gone. I checked the cameras and found him by the alarm, so it had to be him.
Thank you, Ms. Dorothy Bell. No further questioning, Your Honor. Thank you, witness. Mr. Wright, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
So, Miss Bell, you're implying that my client pulled the fire alarm in retaliation of the rent argument, correct?
Well, of course, he probably did it to chase me out the office to steal that money. I bet he saw it in my desk when he was in there.
And you said you never raised it like you claimed?
Never.
Objection, Your Honor. The defense has evidence that the rent was raised. This is the defendant's rent bill for April. The price is $1,200. And this is the previous bill for March. It's $900. That's a $300 difference.
The court accepts some as evidence, Mr. Wright.
Care to explain this, Miss Bell?
I'm sorry. I forgot I raised it. I rarely ever change my rent prices, so it must have slipped my mind.
So you admit that you raised the rent then?
Yeah, well, the company was running short on money, so I raised it for only April and was gonna go back to normal prices. I also made sure to notify them a month in advance.
Objection, Your Honor, that statement contradicts the evidence. The date on the bill for April, it was given out on April 25th. That's less than a week before the April 30th due date.
Miss Bell, you have just committed perjury! That is a serious offense!
Things are looking good. I've exposed her lies to the court.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I was just ashamed of the short notice, but this still shows that he did all this because of the argument in my office.
This is correct, Your Honor. This is the motive the prosecution proclaims. Very well, Mr. Godot. Mr. Wright, would you care to continue?
Well, that turned back against me real fast, but I can't give up that easily. Yes, Your Honor, I would like to continue. So, Miss Bell, getting back to the incident, how much time passed between the rent argument and the alarm sounding?
Maybe like 20 minutes, I guess?
And the alarm that went off was on the 3rd floor, correct?
Idiot! The defense is asking questions we already know, Your Honor!
What's with the Japanese, man?
Objection sustained. Mr. Wright, please answer more cohesive questions.
My apologies, Your Honor. There has to be something, I know it. There's just something fishy about all this. Like this photo. Wait a second. That wall clock above the door. It says 1:15, not 3:28. I bet she changed the timestamp on the photo. Miss Bell, you managed the security cameras in your building, right?
Objection!
What? He said it in English this time.
Your Honor, this is a fact that we already know!
Hold it, Mr. Godot. Something doesn't add up in this photo. Look at the wall clock above the door.
What on earth does this lawyer even mean? Not the skull! It says 1:15!
Yes, that's right. And the timestamp says 3:28. After all, that's when the alarm went off. But since Miss Bell manages the photos at her apartment, this can only mean one thing. She altered the timestamp.
Hey, wait a second. That clock was off. We had a power outage and I never reset it. I didn't alter nothing on that picture and you can't prove it.
Didn't see that one coming. I've come this far, but can I prove it? Gotta think outside the box.
So blurry. Then the sprinkler system came on.
That's it. It's the only way. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Detective Gumtree to the stand. I believe she can shed some light and give us a reason to prove that the clock would be on time that day.
Very well. Does the prosecution object? Ignashi, Your Honor. I'm assuming that means no objections.
So, Detective, did you notice the clock during your investigation?
Yes, I did.
Was it telling the time correctly?
Actually, it wasn't. It stopped at 3:29. It got wet and stopped when the sprinkler came on. Guess I should have thought to brought that up before.
Yeah, well, that was my theory. So, Your Honor, this proves that the clock was on time that day when it stopped. So that means the timestamp was altered.
No way!
No further questions.
Thank you, Detective. Does any of the sides have anything to add? Just one for Mr. Trite, Your Honor. You've raised suspicion on Miss Bell, but that doesn't change anything. After all, why would she fake the photo?
I knew he would ask, and I have the evidence for it. Your Honor, the defense would like to present its last two pieces of evidence. They were proof that Miss Bell did have a motive behind her actions. This is a case file from 5 months ago. It is between none other than Miss Bell and Mr. Dover. Miss Bell sued my client for property damage, but lost, and was blamed for poor maintenance. This left a bad image on her.
No, why did he bring that up? He's gonna expose everything.
But what does that have to do with the current trial?
That brings me to my next piece of evidence. It's an email conversation between the two. Mr. Dover wanted to make things right after what had happened, but Miss Bell's response wasn't pretty to say the least, still blaming him and saying she'd never forget it. So it's obvious that Miss Bell held a grudge against him. This, along with the rent argument, proves that she did have a motive behind it. She pulled the alarm to frame Mr. Dover, all to have him arrested and out of her sight for good, in an act of revenge. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Well, I wasn't expecting that.
Man, he ruined everything. I had a perfect plan.
Thank you, defense. It seems with all the evidence now, I think we can get this verdict going. Does the prosecution have anything else to add? This is my 10th one, and I can't go on.
Jeez, 10 cups? It's not very healthy, you know.
The prosecution rests, Your Honor. All right, now, jury, you may go in order to give down your verdicts. The court will now go into recess while the jury gives down a proper verdict for me to serve.
I'm sure I've given enough evidence. Now it's just a nervous waiting game.
Yeah.
Court is now back in session. Has the jury given down their verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
May the bailiff please deliver my verdict? Thank you. I hereby now declare the defendant, Mr. Ben Dover, not guilty!
Oh, we did it.
At least justice was served in the end. And that makes 20. What is wrong with me? Court is now adjourned.
Well, we did it, Mr. Dover.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I knew she was behind it the whole time.
Well, just doing my job.
Well, I'm glad everything's cleared up now, you know. And my name's clear.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it. Glad to be on the way.
No problem. Have a nice day.
You too.
Hey, Trite. Guess you did good on the trial, even though I did not expect the landlord herself to be the actual culprit.
Thanks. Don't you need those to see?
Oh no, they're cosmetic.
And what was all that Japanese for earlier, might I ask?
Oh, I watched a lot of anime. Yeah. It was, I had a long summer.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Yeah. You want a blend? It's my
Sure.
treat. So prepare you for Prosecutor Von Karma. Also, there's no sugar in there, that's just pure black. You made me. Yeah. I just literally.
No, I don't know what you're under arrest. You're under arrest. Restart.
30th due date. Stop it.
Oh. And none other than the landlord.
That's less than a week than the due date. No. Read him.
Your Honor, the question.
Document proves that she did have a. Whoops. Sorry. Start over.
Great. You got caught.
How do you drink this stuff?
And that makes 12,000.
How are you alive?
I don't know. Oh, and there go my kidneys.